It was last year during TIFF 2014 that filmmaker Megha Ramaswamy met with ANOKHI PULSE TV to chat about her short film Newborns, which premiered at the festival. Now, 1 year later, she's back with her new short, Bunny, which talks about our heartfelt, fantastical childhood experiences and the heartbreak we feel when we leave them behind. So, in 1 year, you're back with the second film at TIFF, and I know you're super excited about that.
Feels good. I feel I must have done something right to be had at the festival again. And TIFF's been so special with my first film. The fact that we're back again with a very personal film, which is very different from Newborns.
Exactly.
It's very encouraging.
Now, you described Bunny as being extremely personal. Tell me what the inspiration was. It really was an idea that was stirring your creativity.
Being a single child, you grow up on stories that your parents tell you, that your grandparents tell you. You have no better pastime but to read and to listen to stories. A part of your childhood is just spent in converting those stories into visuals within your head. Bunny, for me, was a revisit of those spaces.
The film is so visually stunning,
It is.
but it's really based off communication through expression. You don't need words in this case, and I think that helps get the innocence of the childhood story across. Tell me why you decided to go that route.
We didn't know how to speak in a language, and the only way we could communicate was via feeling. I think it would have been a lot more interesting. The world would have arrived someplace else. Of course, I'm very happy that we have the structure of language and things like that. I think as an experiment, Bunny, these were the rules of the world that since we are dealing with kids and since we are dealing with animals, let's just go back to the basics and kind of communicate with each other through feeling and tell a story without cluttering it with dialogue or language.
So from Newborns to Bunny, tell me about your evolution now as a filmmaker, because they're two very distinct films. One looked at acid attack survivors. Lots of dialogue in that, Still very visually stunning, but it told a very different story. And this has a very beautiful fairy tale-like quality to it. And they stand as two diverse pieces of work now in your repertoire.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what's your growth there as a filmmaker?
There's a gain in terms of filmmaking, there's knowledge, there's this hunger and this desire to do more and maybe something different even apart from this. But it's important to kind of tell stories in as many different ways as possible and not just pigeonhole yourself into a very restricted format. Even with Newborns, we took the genre of a documentary and we kind of played around with the hybrid element in it. And in Bunny, we've made up our own film.
So what's the challenge with working without no dialogue? Did you find it easier to work with just expression?
On a screenplay level, it was very easy. And by the time I had to communicate the film to the crew, that's when things got a little scary because they were like, okay, there's just blood and there are these children and there's this big bunny, but nobody's talking and there are these weird visual codes. There's a wall with something written on it and there's this lady raising her hand. So it's all very eerie and at the same time very dreamlike, but in real time nobody really gets it till they kind of see a more coherent edit of it.
You said some keywords here. The 3 C's, code, communication, and then comprehension. How are people to understand this film when they're watching it? Films, they communicate with audiences too, and I think this highlights communication on a very different level. That
you just want to hold on to it and save it in a space that is so safe and secure. In fact, we started with an Emerson quote which says, they're all vanishing friends of your springtime, and that's the kind of melancholy I feel about the process of childhood. They're all vanishing, our grandparents, someday our parents, but the only thing they leave behind are our stories, and that's the heritage and our inheritance of gain.
Don't forget to stay in the loop for your weekly dose of entertainment glitz and glam with ANOKHI PULSE TV. You can catch us online at anokhimedia.com and our YouTube channel, and don't forget to interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.